Get ready with me while I tell you about the origins and history of scene fashion. Scene came from the existing emo subculture in the early 2000s. The name scene started being used around 2002. It came from the term scene queen, which was a derogatory term used to describe attractive women who were perceived as only being involved in hardcore for the scene and the aesthetic. Before scene was an official identity, fashion core was an aesthetic made by the band 18 Visions that helped start the scene culture. Scene got mainstream exposure through pop-punk bands such as Bring Me the Horizon. Scene spread to many places around the world like Asia and Latin America. Metalcore, pop punk, and EDM are all considered scene music. Scene fashion was heavily influenced by 80s hair metal, punk, cybergoth, rave fashion, kawaii, and gyaru. Despite scene and emo being so similar, they are different. Scene is more bright and colorful, and it relies more on appearances than music. There are many different staples of scene fashion, and I will be going over them. Brightly colored graphic t-shirts and hoodies were very common. Many girls wore tutus as well. And you can't forget the most iconic staple of any scene kid's outfit, skinny jeans. Scene kids wore tons of bright and colorful jewelry, including rave candy, rubber bracelets, and blinged out necklaces. Studded belts were also very important. Shoes included Vans, Converse, and Osiris's. The most iconic part of a scene kid was their jagged, bright-colored hair with side bangs. I don't have side bangs, but not all scene kids had them either, so I guess it works out. The makeup was bold and consisted of tons of eyeliner, which was popular for men and women. False eyelashes and nail polish were also used, and they were pretty popular as well. Although piercings weren't necessary, a lot of scene kids had a lot of face piercings and ear piercings. Recently, there's been a large revival of scene culture. There's been 3 different waves of scene fashion. The first was in the mid-2000s, the second was in the mid-2010s, and the third was in the early 2020s. Many people in 2020 were introduced to scene fashion on TikTok and Instagram. People started referring to the 2020s as the Roaring 20s, a wordplay on the term the Roaring 20s. Raw is just one of the slang words that scene kids used. Others include HXC, which stands for hardcore, and XD, which is an emoticon. In 2020, a style called E-Kid started popping off, and if you're wondering, E stands for internet. E-Kids were heavily inspired by scene fashion by wearing things like studded belts, having dyed hair, and wearing candy on their wrists. The pandemic was a huge part in the resurgence of scene-based fashion due to people being stuck inside and wanting to fuel their nostalgia. Many kids my age growing up saw scene kids online and dreamed to be like them. Now I'm just putting in extensions after I teased my hair and I already have my makeup and outfit on. A lot of scene kids actually wore extensions to change their hair color more frequently, and a lot of them wore raccoon tail extensions. I tried as hard as I could to make my outfit and hair accurate, so let me know how I did. Now here, I'm just teasing my hair more because my hair got really flat for some reason, even though I put hairspray in. I genuinely want to know how the scene kids actually kept their hair up, because this is really frustrating. My hair is finally done, so now I'm gonna go put on some accessories. First, I have this really cute brass knuckle necklace, and then I got these fingerless gloves because I thought they kind of matched the outfit. And then I'm putting some candy on top of that, very cute. And I'm putting on this leather bracelet. And I decided on this tiara for the head accessory because a lot of scene queens did wear tiaras. And then I got some knee-high Converse, a scene kid staple, that's for sure. And then I got some studded belts I'm gonna layer together as well. Here is the finished look. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I really hope you guys learned something from this video. I hope you learned more about scene fashion and scene culture, and I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.